Hey everybody, we are in South Philadelphia, historic church right here in South Philadelphia. I have two guests right here and we're talking about so many subjects, but most importantly, we're talking about gentrification and how it affects everyone involved. So my guest right here is the servant of the Lord. She's in evangelism. She is Bishop Jefferson, who has been awarded by many different people, but recently just been awarded by Joanna Clinton and one of the other representatives in this area. Mm-hmm. So tell them how you got started with what you do.
I actually got started by living in the projects. I got started by seeing hungry people that was asking for food but was given food stamps. They're up there stamping us like we are cattle, but nobody said, show them how to fish. They gave them a fish, but they didn't show them how to fish. So here we are, that's how it started. I'm originally from North Carolina, picking cotton for, I don't want to sound prejudiced, but picking cotton for the light-skinned people, rather than say, you know what. Picking cotton for the ones that had a big house on the hill, while my grandfather and great-grandfather was a slave, keeping the hill together, plowing and lawn mowing and tractor and all that. The pigs in the slop, they in the White House, but we used the outhouse. So that's how I got started. I watched, went to school down there, but we got C's for being colored. When it was an A. We got C's and D's, and I didn't know what the D stood for because I wasn't deaf. I wasn't disturbed. And my mother and father told me, don't look down, look up. So that's how I got started. Then we moved to Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. I don't know about that because everybody was not my brother or my sister. I love my city, but it wasn't for everybody. And I didn't see the brotherly love. I didn't see the sisterly love. I didn't see it for everybody. A bad attitude like a flat tire, not going to wait till you change it. So I had to change it.
You had to change it. When we talk about change, Keith Mungin, he's the House of Reconciliation. He's done so many projects in the city, from baby mama drama to actually making sure children, youth, get jobs in this city. So when you hear something like brotherly love, Philadelphia doesn't have brotherly love, how does that make you feel?
It's sad. It's very sad of what's going on today in our world today. I don't know how I even begin, but it started back, I was a troubled youth myself. Until I found God. When God came in my life, everything changed. So anything that he puts in me, I believe that I have to blow life into it. I have to bring it to reality. So that's why I do so many different projects, because he's constantly keeping me working to bring about change in the social issues that's going on in our society. Not just Philadelphia, but all around the world.
Yeah, the number one thing both of you said was change. So with change, things were getting better, but now we see something different. A change is happening. Our neighborhood, South Philadelphia, is becoming something different. We talk about gentrification. In this wonderful historic church, how does gentrification affect the church?
Good and bad.
Good and bad.
Good and bad. Good because, and I don't mean to deviate from your question, but good and bad, because in the word black is like, L-A-C-K, we don't like anything. So now it's time for a wake-up call. It's time for us to see what time is it. So the ministers, and I really don't need no title, because there are no titles in heaven. I'm just a servant. But what does my title mean? Is it just a title for me to sit in the pulpit on Sunday morning and raise an offering? Here's the plate. But what's in the plate? So I think that good and bad, when they move into our neighborhood and we allow them to come in, now they come in with their husbands. Now they're coming in with their children. Now what does that tell us? Are we a sellout? Or are they moving in because they know some of us can't afford the taxes. Moving to 2348 Christian, 2633 Wharton, Point Breeze, where we paid that money, but now because certain people move in, the taxes go up. It's just like the Little Rascals. You probably don't know the program, you're probably too young. But we used to watch the Little Rascals. Here come Amos and Annie, here come all them people. Mm-hmm. But what about our children? Where's the jobs? Where's the jobs for us? Even for you. I know they call you the South Philadelphia Oprah, you are. I like it because you're interested in all people. I'm not just interested in black people, all people. But I want to know why they're not training my brothers and sisters. When I met Mr. Mungin, I really didn't like him when I met him. I'm being honest. I don't like people that, do this. But I sat down before I judged them, because the Bible said judge, not judge. He showed me he had a plan. I said, everybody got, here go another plan. Here go another person, a plan with no hand. Then I watched him. I watched him going around telling the baby mama drama, telling the young men, you need to get off the street and get on your feet and hold your head up and get a job. He was giving people jobs. Well, I wouldn't be here today. Don't waste my time. Excuse me, I'm not cussing. BS, bacon and salad. Because if so, I'm going to be the tomato. I want to see you doing something. So that's how I met him. And so, yes, bad ain't good. This gentrification, bad. Bad. There's no jobs for this young man, this young man, this young man. There's no, I went out in the street. You're talking about gentrification means jobs for everybody. Went out in the street, even today coming here. Went down University of Pennsylvania, gentrification. I saw all these men out there doing the cement, doing the pavement. I saw 2 blacks. The rest was white. And I want to know why.
Don't forget the Mexicans.
And I saw it, and the Mexicans, but no blacks. Why? We don't know how to do cement? I can do cement, teach me. Show me. Show me. Because I had to do it. I had to pick cotton. I had to pick the corn. But they gave me some money. I'm in here now. Don't give my people nothing. Young men going around wearing their pants. Now, I don't want to see that. I want you to make the pants and own the pants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but when you talk about teaching, Mr. Keith Mungin has a whole company that teaches young people how to do cement. When you said cement, do they give you any of the contracts for cement? Does the people that are gentrifying the area, are you able to get some of those contracts?
I used to get them. Let me go back for a minute, but there's a process that the city has, and you have to get your license, you have to get registered, you have to get all your paperwork straight in order to get these, to take it to the next level. In order to get these kind of jobs that's going to pay $20,000, $100,000, $200,000. In order to get those kind of jobs, you have to have your paperwork. And in our society today, black folks do not never have their paperwork together, and that's the biggest problem. So it goes back to education. So it goes back to teaching. So all the platforms that's out here, we need to focus on the more important things that's going to get us to the next level, and that's straighten out your paperwork. And then you can move to the next level. Because if my paper wasn't straight, I wouldn't be able to do some of the jobs I did. I actually did 17th and Carpenter, South 17th. I actually did that whole block as far as concrete, curve, and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, a guy like me from South Philly, I was a troubled kid. Who would think that right now, that's part of my legacy. I got a whole block under my belt. So, which I think is good. So what I'm doing now is just trying to educate politicians, different churches, different pastors, trying to bring all of them together and start working together. And then we can teach these young people how important paperwork is. Because when they get work and they get pulled over, the job gets stopped. You can't work if you ain't got your license. So that's a big problem here in Philadelphia.
So not even just paperwork. If we see gentrification comes from people buying properties, so shouldn't we have that dialogue about making sure we buy properties, or Are the churches going to get together? Because you have gentrification. These houses are, $400,000 and $500,000, right? And they're sitting they're sitting in between maybe a house that needs work, a house that needs more, updates.
So, can I comment?
Yeah, you can.
So basically, for me, I believe there's a conspiracy through the government for black folks to fail. And the reason I say that, because you have billionaire bankers who's funding and filtering this money down to certain banks and specifically tell these banks who to get these loans to. So it's all a conspiracy for us to fail. So when you see a lot of white folks, where's all this money coming from? Mm-hmm. Who's filtering this money? But when it comes to us, we can get a loan for a car. We can get a loan for a car, but we can't get a loan for a house. And the reason being is that a car has no value.
A house appreciates and the car depreciates.
Has no value.
Soon to get off the lot.
Right. So it has no value. So what it is that we have to start coming together and create our own resources for our own people. So that's one of the things that I'm trying to put in place now. So, and it all falls on gentrification. And if you pay attention now, the folks that's moving in here now, like the young lady said, Pastor said, you see new wife, new husbands, new babies, new dogs. All these people are moving in. That makes their population are growing when ours are decreasing, behind the fact that we have black on black crime. Constantly we killing each other. So there's a whole mess of things going on where we're dying and their numbers are going up.
You know what though? I'm glad you brought that back up. In our neighborhood, even the dogs, I see people walking dogs. Expensive dogs.
Yes.
And the dogs have puppies. The cats have litter. But you don't have no money for my people. I don't bring it to church. They say, if my people, which shall call by my name, will humble themselves and pray and seek. We ain't seeking. What are we seeking on the corner?
Right.
What are we seeking in? I'm not talking all people. I'm not saying, when I say, well, if you have no brotherly love, I'm not according to we have no love. But we have love for who we want. We have love for who we want to give it to. And when anybody quote me and say, well, Dr. Jefferson said, Philadelphia don't have, yes. But who's getting the stake tonight? Who's gonna get the contract tonight? Why is this young man and the Caucasian young man, the Mexican man commit a crime? Caucasian 1 year, Mexican 1 year, Caucasian 2 years, African American 7 to 10. Why? So now you done took me away from my family. My family don't have no money. I can't pay the taxes. And I only hear from you politicians, some of you, in August for the vote. And you toting the paper, and I'm toting the bill that you know I can't fulfill. I don't have to have this paper. I have this paper because I'm reading. I'm reading what you said. Vote for me, I'll set you free. No, vote for me and we free. My taxes? Where these young people getting these guns from? They ain't getting them from their mother because they don't have the type of money. Genocide.
That is worse.
That is worse. So you said you're talking about solutions. Give us a few of the solutions. Aren't some of the solutions?
Okay.
Jobs.
Jobs is one. Education is two. I just recently written the president, requesting him for $500 million in reference to create a dialogue on having a conversation about building bridges, highways, and railroads for infrastructure. Infrastructure is a big part of where all this money is going to that he's giving for infrastructure.
So who's he giving it to?
So the airport just got $1 billion for infrastructure.
Okay.
So the same contractors, white contractors, are constantly getting these contracts over and over again. No blacks are getting these contracts. So therefore, I'm trying to create a dialogue with the president to start giving that $500 million so we can start having money to do our own.
So how many letters have you sent?
So I sent one so far. So right now, at the process, me and Dr. Jefferson been talking about, and I came to her with the idea. So she's been talking with the clergies, the black clergies, and a couple other pastors to try to get them involved and get behind the letter as well. So we're only strong in numbers. So I think if we start pushing them letters out, hopefully we get a response, because we need money to create our own employment for our own people. Until we do that, we're being defeated and deleted, relocated, resegregated, and there's nothing we can do. And now we got black on black crime.
Yeah.
Not only that,
Lots of
don't forget you got all the homosexual activity that's going on between men and women. No disrespect, that's your preference. You got that. I'm just using this as a point.
Oh.
You have that. You have all the men that's locked up behind these bars. That stops all your reproduction of young, new black babies that's coming to this world.
Understood.
So that's a big problem. So our numbers are completely down. So, and when you see these new people that's moving into our community, their numbers constantly going up, because all you see is a new wife, new husband, and new babies. So their numbers going up while ours going down.
Where our babies are being killed in the streets, where our
Right.
babies are being killed all over the
Right.
place. So we're going to continue to be the minority, which we are already categorized as minorities.
But if this president give up that money, we can create jobs all across the United States and start teaching our people how to build bridges and highways and railroads, and not hire one or two, which they do to us with their minority participation. They have to hire blacks because that's the agreement that they have with these cities and these different states to hire blacks. But they only hire between 1 and 2, and those are the ones you usually see when you drive by a big construction. You usually see 1 or 2 guys outside with flags. That's justify the agent who works for the city that they have blacks on the site. But just imagine if we had our own control, we can hire 2,000-3,000 blacks. So that's the difference. So that's what I'm working for, and that's what this is all about. So we had a meeting with the black clergy maybe 3 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. So he's interested, and hopefully, I think the light bulb went off at the end of the meeting. He jumped up and like, oh yeah, okay. So hopefully, what's his name again?
Robert Collier.
Robert Collier. Yeah.
Pastor
So he's
Robert Collier is the president of the black clergy.
Pastor Robert Collier. Okay. So when it comes to this letter, right? Do you think it's going to take a little more than a letter to get his attention?
Yeah, it's gonna take everybody effort to get behind the letter, and if that don't work, we have to find a way to create our own finance.
So is the clergy strong enough to make sure this to happen? Do you need the clergy plus maybe the Islamic faith, maybe everybody coming together? What do you need more?
Well, let's do the math though, because you look at if everybody come together, we can get it done, right? You would think.
Everybody like who?
Like the clergy, Islamics, brothers and sisters. If we all come together, we can get this job. We can get it done. That's the bottom line.
That's the problem. No disrespect. That's a good question. Come together.
Oh yeah, that's the key.
We can't come together in our neighborhoods. We can't come together sometime on Sunday morning. Who out preach you? You introduce me to something. In the Bible, they had problems too, but they came together. Mm-hmm. Remember?
Yeah.
Abraham was a liar. Remember?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Isaiah was a sanctum. Peter denied Christ. Noah was a drunk. Rahab was a prostitute. Okay? The Samaritan woman couldn't even keep a man, couldn't keep her husband.
Don't forget Peter denied Jesus.
And Peter
right?
denied
That's
Jesus.
She said Peter denied Jesus.
Peter denied Jesus. David was a whore and a murderer.
Mm-hmm.
But they did what? At the end, what? Come together.
Come together.
So don't judge us by that.
Well, not only 2. I heard one time that Jesus only chose 3 out of the disciples.
Jesus had 3 road dogs.
3 road.
He chose 12.
He chose 12, but he chose his main 3.
But his main 3 was John, Peter, and James.
Right.
Because you can't let everybody know what you're doing.
Right.
I told you.
Those three had special talents, special gifts that the other ones didn't possess.
But they did. But look at this. Look at this. You got
Go
the
ahead.
talents. You got the people, right?
Right.
But look at where we at right now. It's in the Bible. It says there's going to be a great falling away. Right? There's a great falling away. So with everybody falling away, so how do we get everyone back together? Because clearly there's just churches. Almost now, it used to be churches on every corner. Now the churches have been sold out. They can't because they can't maintain because of the great falling away. So now that everybody's falling away, you have great Bishop Dr. Jefferson right here. You got the whole council. How do you bring everybody together? Even before you get to the president, how do you get everybody together when there's already a great falling away?
Well, first I think, we got to get rid of the jealousy and envy. Because one thing, black folks can't stand position. See, once you give a position, everybody like, well, why he got to do that? Why I can't do this? How he going to lead? How he going to do that? So the bickering got to stop. All that, who do this, who do that, we got to stay in our own lane. Whoever's good at what they do, stay in that lane and follow protocol, and the job will get done. And that's part of the things that I'm working on now, building this team. I have another plan that I don't care to speak about at this point, because if I do, somebody's going to jump in front of me and start it, and it's going to be done. They're going to say, oh, I did this. No, you didn't do that. So sometimes you got to be silent. You can't just speak all the time. God says sometimes be silent. Don't speak all the time. You can't tell everybody everything. So sometimes we have to be silent and just watch your moves and put it out there.
Well, I say to everybody out there, we all play a part in all of this. Gentrification, jobs, plans, building income, and everything like that. We all play a part in it. And if we all come together, why don't you write in to the number? We have a number and all that. Why don't you write in and let us know what your solutions are, what you think about it, and how we can all come together? Because it's not all about, Keith Mungin, Dr. Jefferson, or even me. It's not all about us. Maybe there's a solution we haven't thought about. Maybe there's a way you can come together and say, listen, I want to help. Because when it comes to gentrification, our neighborhoods are changing. Our people are changing. And it's not necessarily that it's benefiting black and brown, or it's not necessarily benefiting us. It's not. What's happening is not benefiting us, because you have people who might have lived in a neighborhood for so many years, and now their house is the same amount. It costs the same amount, but now their taxes are going up, and now they can't afford to keep up with what's going on. The same might happen with the church if we don't think business minded. Right. So how can we incorporate business into this? And then I want to hear your solutions. Make sure you write into Keith Mungin and House of Reconciliation. So how can we think business minded? How can a church think more business minded? So which one wants to start? Okay. Business.
You can let Pastor go. I'll close it out.
Business minded, and I'll make it short as I can. We have to know who's in charge, and put away any jealousy. That's one thing I can say even about Bishop Thomas here. Everybody's not good at everything. Everybody can't play the piano. Everybody can't be the cameraman. But if you know who your skills, then do that. You said change habits and norms for greater excellence. That's CHANGE. So the church can come together, teach our people, give our young men a chance to work. Forget about, I'm glad you said church, all have sinned and come short to glory of God. So we've all done things wrong. You, me, and everybody else. I is in the middle of sin, slick, scheme, and click. So get away with that. It's not about I. We all have sinned. Get away to click. You're still going to get your pay. But my greatest payday is when I see a child or a young man graduate from high school. Young lady, young man. When I see that graduation cap, everybody's not going to college, but they got a skill. When I see a young lady like you doing what you're doing, telling somebody, ringing the bell. It's time to ring the bell. Taxes, then tax ourselves to do what's right. Tax ourselves to help somebody. Tax ourselves to find another Keith Mungin. Find ourselves to find, he's dead and gone, a David P. Richardson, or Roxanne Jones. They ain't here. I don't care who gets the, I don't need no title. You don't have to give me no pay. My pay is when I see a young lady being a mother, able to take care of her children. A young man standing up on his 2 feet, not on drugs, slow. Give him a hug and say you did good. We got to start telling people you did a good job. And when they slip off, stop labeling them. Special ed, this one. Stop labeling each other. Let's come together. That's my problem. That's what the church can do. Help each other.
Help each other.
I apologize.
No, you're fine. That's what we should do. Help each other.
Help each other. Well, one of mine, I'm going to say that, you know, in order to change your thinking, once you change your thinking, you change your life. So that's the main part. Change your thinking, got to change your life. That's number one. Number two, our children of the day are very angry. For whatever reason, parents raising kids. I mean, these parents today are very young. So that's a problem as well. So it starts at home. We got to educate our parents how to educate their children, because that's the biggest problem we have now. And that's why these kids are so angry, because the parents today are actually cussing their kids out they could be 4 or 5 years, and you hear these parents cussing these kids out. So that's a big problem. So you got to look at when they turn 18, 19, they're immune. So now they cuss you out like it ain't nothing. They walk around, you speak to them, they look at you like they want to kill you. So the world is actually changing. So it's going to take somebody to go back and start re-educating these kids, and it's going to start at home and in the schools. So we have to come up with a new curriculum as well for these schools. So we got to start teaching our kids how to better, for achievements, better reach their goals, how to respect themselves. So there's a whole lot that have to be done, and one person just not going to do it. And we got to get rid of the jealousy, the envy, the hatred. All these things are poison, and it's killing the growth and development of us today in the society. So until, you know, and I look at like, when you read about these characters in the Bible, the Abraham, the Jacobs, the Moses, you know, they still here. They exist in us today. But the problem is going on, we caught up in worldly things. Until we get these worldly things out, you're missing your blessings that God had for you, because you're too busy chasing the dollar. You're putting the money before God. You can't put money before God. God is first before all things. And if you praise him to the fullest and speak it through your mouth and your tongue, confess it, and you'll see your life change tremendously. You'll be doing things that you wouldn't even know how you did them. But just do that, and that's the best advice I can do. Tell you, put a strong desire behind your action, and it's going to happen, you know?
Awesome. House of Reconciliation. There's some great programs out there. And, you know, we never talk about there are people doing great things. So why don't you out there, I just challenge you, if you're out there, you want change, you want something different, I challenge you to get in touch with Keith Mungin, House of Reconciliation, and come together. Get in touch with the church right here in South Philadelphia. Get in touch with Bishop Jefferson. Get in touch with it and see how you can come together to help. Point Breeze television series is coming out really soon, which will touch on basically what we're talking about, but actually give you ways to actually find out how you can increase your income, get jobs. It's not just a television series, it's an educational piece, but entertaining, right?
Right, exactly.
Television, education, entertainment, all together. Talking about
based on true events.
Definitely based on true events and real solutions. Look for the solutions and everything. So let's continue to look for solutions. Let's continue to come together. If some are, for those that are, let's keep coming together. For those that aren't, we want to hear from you.
And the most important thing is what? Put God first, and all things is possible. It's that
Absolutely.
simple. It's simple. But we got to do something to save this next generation, because they're the future. So
I want to thank you so much. You are so on point. But all of you, whether you're Muslim, whether you're Christian, Catholic, or Jewish, there's one word we all use. Even though the Muslims say Allah, it's God. Look at the word God, capital G-O-D. And what is God telling us? I don't care what you are. God. First is G-O, go. You're trying to do. Go do what God is telling you to do. Luta continue. that means the struggle continue. I love you.
And struggle was ordained by God. Without struggle, you can't bring out the good qualities that's hidden within. Don't forget it. Shelly Shell, thank you. Dr. Jefferson, thank you.
Thank you.
And we're going to continue doing God's work. And this is not Keith Mungin's vision. This is God's vision. So it ain't about me. This is God's vision that he gave me to bring about change for all around the world. Thank you.
Thank you.